We were often labeled as poor travelers, which means we didn't perform well abroad. Today's players are different. They're in your face. Is this some sort of reverse colonialism?
Today, India has the money power.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, India is the mecca of cricket. We dictate terms. They have to listen to us.
Couple day by the time they were like, how is he going to be the captain because he doesn't speak English?
Englishmen are not God.
Is there double standard?
Talking English is not going to win the tournament. You're going to win the tournament by bowling well, batting well, and fielding well. That is what Kapil Dev proved.
Press gets after you in those countries.
BBC went on strike. They didn't cover that Zimbabwe versus Kapil Dev.
Not an important
Not
game.
an important game at all.
In your era, it was dominated by the Mumbai-Delhi bloc, favoritism and regionalism as well.
Maybe you're right. Probably when you come from a place like Chennai, you might have to do a little bit extra to prove the whole world that you are really good.
We saw a clash of cultures when the fourth test between India and England.
Washington Sundar Jadeja had a 200-run partnership and saved the game. And then you're coming and say as though you're given away the match. That's wrong attitude. English are also bad losers.
Your partners accompanying you on tour. You have one or two bad series, the blame shifts to your partner. Why do you think that is in 2025? Srikkanth, welcome to the Plush podcast.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be with you. Good luck and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Srikkanth, you've been an international athlete. Sports teaches you a lot. It teaches you resilience, teaches you, it builds your character, teaches you discipline. And I'd argue travel does the same thing in many ways. Not the Michelin stars and fancy hotels necessarily, but being in an environment that's alien to you, being in an environment where there's language problems, there's, cultural problems as well, cultural differences. But in your case, as an international athlete, I'd say travel turbocharges your growth as a human being.
Definitely, yes. I think there are two kinds of travel when you say travel. One is the domestic travel, and other is the international travel.
Yes.
The one great thing about the game of cricket in India is when you play from the lowest level of cricket, especially from school level, and I mean, we used to have school level, university level.
Yes.
A little bit of under 19, under 22 level. That's how we grew up.
And Ranji as well.
Ranji and all those things. I'm talking about before pre-Ranji. I'm talking about pre-Ranji times.
Yeah.
Because that's the time you travel in unreserved. Those days we used to have unreserved third class. Not even second class. There used to be something called unreserved third class. So we are used to traveling unreserved third class. I mean, our probably with near stinking toilets in the train. And so we are used to it. That's one thing that is built up our character and our mindset. And then you slowly grow up the ladder. Then you come to third class, second class, then first class. Like that you move on. And then flight.
And to earn your flights.
Till I played cricket, I think we were traveling only in train, if I'm right.
Right.
And so I think towards the end of my career, maybe as Dulip Trophy, we started flying out of Chennai and going to various situations. I mean, various locations. But then that's the whole thing. You've traveled from Chennai to Srinagar, Chennai to Kanyakumari this side, Chennai to Northeast, Chennai to Western Coast, all, but train, car, bus, aircrafts, everything.
You've roughed it out.
Yeah. No, that's what all cricketers do. It's not me. It's right from Sunil Gavaskar to probably a Dhoni to himself.
Yes.
Everybody's done that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Correct.
Even today, I think the lowest level, they start that level only.
Right. And, with international travel as well, you are representing your country, but you're finding out who you are outside of it when you're overseas. And you played in an era where perhaps, you didn't have the facilities, even internationally, that you probably have today, catering to every women fancy of the current lot in your time.
See, that's right. I mean, I would say the first major international tour, if you may call it, is probably the 83 World Cup.
Yeah.
When we went to England for the 83 World Cup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the first, I would say, a big travel for me as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you're going to land up in England, and you're going and watching, matches there, playing matches there.
Grey skies, swinging Duke balls.
And you're walking the streets of London, you're walking the streets of Manchester, all those things which is, I mean, you just heard of, don't forget the good old days. We are all read about these things. You heard about it in radio and little bit on television. Those days, the television was not big, at least in India.
Yes.
So a little bit. It was more of radio. I mean, you talk about 1971 series when India won, or 74 series when India lost, all the other series till 83. So you go to England and then say, man, fantastic. You go to the lodge, you take the photographs of the lodge, you meet the Queen. So when you travel like that, it's a great experience. 83 World Cup was a great experience for us.
I want to talk to you about the cultural aspects of it, right? Your first major tour outside of India. But when you're in England, you are, the weather is different. The conditions are different, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Were you overawed culturally? Did the team or any of your teammates ever feel inferior? Because, whether we like it or not, a lot of us still have that colonial hangover. And India wasn't the global heavyweight that it was in cricket back then either. So what was it like culturally interacting with players from different, countries, language problems? Not everybody spoke English either. What was that like?
One thing that 83 World Cup did post 83 World Cup was because it got us that cricketing independence.
Right.
When we went to London in England, we started practicing. Then we had practice matches in London. And then we were called for all the teams assembled to meet the Queen. And after meeting the Queen in the Buckingham Palace, we had to go to the Lord's ground to take a team photograph, group photograph, where all the teams are present on the Lord's, on the ground of Lord's. And they took a photograph from the Lord's balcony. The guys, the newcomers into the scene, were slightly on the back foot, obviously.
In what sense?
In the sense that, I was overawed by the sight of Viv Richards types. Or
Right.
Dennis Lilly, Viv Richards. When you meet those greats, you are slightly overawed by this,
Sure.
the stature of the players.
Yeah.
And yes, to a certain extent, yes. When you meet the Queen kind of a thing, you don't know, you're supposed to kneel down, kiss her hand. All that is different for us, right?
Yes.
The typical, the British culture.
Yeah.
On the 25th of June, 1983, when we could walk on the streets of anywhere, whether it's be it London, be it Manchester, be it New York, be it Delhi, be it Adelaide, we could proudly say we are the world champions.
Right.
Initial times, you go, I'm a vegetarian, and so I have to go look out for some vegetarian restaurants, see food.
Were there too many of those options back then?
Not much. So that's why there used to be some Indians who the Indians have, go to the Indians' house, have some lunch. Then, of course, nowadays, over a period of time, it's just, it's boomed now. The South Indian food extra. The South Indian food all over the world, or the Indian food all over the world is boomed. The right word is the boom of Indian food.
Right.
So, but then those days, yes, especially when you go to the ground, when you say vegetarian, you get only bread, butter, and salad. And they give you a lot of lettuce and say you will eat it.
And you're supposed to play a whole day.
Otherwise they didn't know what to prepare for vegetarians in those days.
Yeah.
I remember in the dressing rooms, 83 World Cup, so I lived literally on bread and butter.
And that must be hard because, playing takes a lot out of you.
And thank God I had an uncle living in England, so sometimes I used to go to his house for food.
Right.
And I think Kapil Dev's friends were there, and they used to organize Punjabi food. And sometimes when you're traveling in the coach, in England, we travel in coaches. We don't have to go by flight.
Yeah.
They give you a coach. Every team is given a coach.
Yeah, just a couple of hours away.
Because the maximum is London to Manchester, which is about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So in between, we stop in friend's house, have food kind of thing. So culturally, if you look at it, yes, totally different. You see those castles there. You see the lovely green meadows there.
Yes.
So in the Indian topography, if you see, it's not as green as it, except probably some fantastic places like Kashmir or the Kashmir valleys or the Kodaikanal valleys or the Ooty valleys where you have some nice hill stations. I still believe that some of us still have the colonial hangover.
Yes.
You and I today, what language are we talking?
Absolutely.
We are talking in English now. The very fact that you're doing the interview in English is still that we have not yet got over the colonial hangover.
Correct. But, you mentioned Kapil, and we've seen the movie 83 as well, in which obviously there's a prominent, role of yours as well. And one of the issues with Kapil Dev at the time was, they were like, how is he going to be the captain because he doesn't speak English? And Mr. Kapil Dev had said, let someone else speak English, I'm going to play cricket. Now, with that kind of environment where you're expected to know English, and a lot of these rustic players from the north perhaps weren't as comfortable with the language. You being from South India were perhaps more comfortable. Or some of the guys like Ravi and Sunny Gavaskar were comfortable in English. What was that dynamic like? Because A, you're in an alien environment. You want to play your best. You are overawed by the players around you from all over the world, like you rightly mentioned, Imran and Dennis Lilly and all these guys. They're going to come after you on the pitch. But off the pitch now, you're navigating, perhaps you're made to feel a little inferior because you don't speak their language. Did you ever sense a feeling of inferiority, or you were made to feel inferior because you didn't speak that language and culturally you were so different from perhaps some of your Western counterparts?
See, to a certain extent, we'll have to accept the fact that even today it happens like that. Even though we are, we are literally ruling the world, even economy-wise, also we're the fourth biggest economy as of today.
Yeah.
But one thing great about Kapil Dev is I think he leads by example. And I think he's proved everybody that, yes, you might not know English, but as long as you know your mother tongue well, that's fair enough, that's good enough. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
That's the biggest lesson you have to take away from the 1983 World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, by talking in English, you're not going to get wickets.
Yes.
By talking in English, you're not going to get runs. By talking in English, you're not going to win the tournament.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
You're going to win the tournament by bowling well, batting well, and fielding well. That is what Kapil Dev proved. So you're right. I think to a certain extent, yes. If you don't know how to speak English, yes, you are sometimes looked down upon, especially by the other white community.
And the press gets after you in those countries as well when you're touring.
Yes, they used to. Actually, I mean, in fact, that's what they said. They didn't cover that Zimbabwe was Kapil Dev's. I mean, Zimbabwe
175
was India knock. 175 not out. The BBC went on strike and they said they didn't cover it because they found that they thought it's a very, very,
not an important
not
game.
an important game at all.
With the minnows.
So not even the minnows. They said, no, come on, yeah, India's playing. What can India do?
Yes.
And Zimbabwe, anyway, they're gone. So they kind of took it for granted that it's going to be England versus, West Indies in the final kind of a thing. So that's what they were hoping for, which happened in 1979 World Cup.
Yes.
So final. So the point is that depends on the individual, how strong you are to make yourself feel that you're proud to be an Indian. So I'm proud to be an Indian. I'm proud to be a Tamilian. I can speak well in Tamil. I can speak a little bit in Hindi. मेरा हिंदी तो ठीक है, अच्छा है.
Yes.
I mean, मेरा हिंदी तो अच्छा नहीं, but मेरा mother tongue Tamil है.
बहुत अच्छा है, सर.
मेरा हिंदी है, मेरे तो ये सबको जानते हैं, मैं सबको समझता है, मैं क्या बात कर रहे हैं.
आप तो ये इंटरव्यू हिंदी में भी कर सकते हो.
अभी कर दो, हिंदी में बात करें. So इसी में कोई दिक्कत नहीं मेरे को.
Yes.
The point is, we will have to be proud of our own culture. We'll have to be proud that we have to be proud that we are Indians, and then we have to be proud of wherever you come from, whether you're from Madras, whether you're from Bombay, whether you're from Delhi. You have to be proud that you're a Punjabi, you're a proud Marathi, you're a proud South Indian, a proud Tamilian, proud Kannadiga, whatever it is.
That era of cricket, even though we had fantastic names, we were often labeled as poor travelers, which means we didn't perform well abroad in alien conditions. We were taught to, score 100 and keep your head down. And this is something Kapil Dev has said himself, Our culture was such that don't stand out, be respectful. Today's players are different. They're in your face. They're giving it back, or sometimes they're initiating it. Do you think that's come with money and our stature in world cricket today? And is this some sort of reverse colonialism where you want to get back to these guys and say that, look, you ruled us then, and we're calling the shots now?
The good old days, they used to say that Lords is the Mecca of cricket. But I think today, India is the Mecca of cricket. I won't like to say any individual place. Everybody has to come to India. Whether you like it or not, India rules world cricket.
Yes.
So they have to come to IPL. They have to play IPL. Those days, we didn't have the money power.
Yes.
Today, India has the money power.
And that's reflected in the players' attitudes as well?
100%. It's not only the players' attitude. The boards have BCCI attitude everywhere. Now, the BCCI dictates terms to ICC.
Right.
And which is nothing wrong in it.
Yes.
Because the majority, you have to understand, it's not, where do you get the money from? The money is not somebody giving you. The money comes from the viewers.
And the viewers are here.
The viewers are here.
Yeah.
Thanks to the viewership in India, there is money. So you're talking about 1.4 billion population, right?
Right.
Out of which at least almost half the people will be watching cricket.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Out of which at any given point of any small match, the smallest of matches,
Yes.
even a test match, even a test series in England,
Yes.
which is going on,
Yes.
while we are doing the recording,
Yes.
that viewership will be bigger than what English viewership is.
Absolutely.
Which will be very minuscule as far as India is concerned.
Correct.
The minuscule viewership of India itself is big for certain countries.
No, we make up the numbers. There's no denying.
So that way, one good thing today is we rule the world cricket, and in the bargain, everybody has to listen to us. Be it England, be it Australia, be it South Africa, they have to listen to us. We dictate terms.
That's money power. But do you also think...
It's not only money power. We are also equally good in cricket.
Yes.
Don't forget that we are dominating world cricket now. Even as I speak, as you said, the current England series, we are the last day of the the Oval Test match. I'm hoping that India, by the time this podcast comes out, we would have been we squared the series 2-2. And that too with fresh youngsters who are new to and new captain, new look team, doing well in England.
Now, coming back to cricket and cultures, different cultures that you played against, oftentimes, sometimes in jest as well, certain things can be lost in translation, where you're joking around with somebody from a different culture and a different country, and you could say something, but it could be misconstrued as something else. Does that also happen? I mean, I'm sure that happens. It happens amongst friends. I lived abroad. It's happened with me as well. Did that happen with players, and what is the reaction then? Any sort of misunderstandings?
See, sometimes it happens, but I think I don't have any specific understanding. But sometimes it happens because sometimes, for example, a guy like me, when I started playing cricket, I didn't know much about Hindi.
Yes.
So I learned my Hindi playing cricket with all the cricketers, Indian cricketers.
Yes.
Because the main language spoken in the dressing room is probably Hindi.
Yes.
The Northerners speak Hindi, the Bombay guys speak Marathi.
What is that like? Because India is a continent by itself. Because you've got, different language, different cultures, different habits, different food habits within India itself. So, one challenge is, of course, going abroad and assimilating and adjusting there. But one would argue that within India as well, perhaps somebody from Punjab is used to a different kind of cuisine, somebody from the South, different kind of cuisine, music preferences in the dressing room. So what is that like,
That itself is a cultural,
education.
This kind of cultural, cooperation is the right word, which we have in India, cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Where else can you find it? Tell me. North India, you go, they want South Indian vada dosas. South India, you go to come to Madras, you want to have a job, you got naan, paratha, paneer, whatever it is.
Yes.
Then you go to West India, you have their cuisine. Then you go to Telugu. Every cuisine is there in Madras. You go to every Telugu food, Kannadiga food, Tamil food, Punjabi food, whatever. What more? What do you want?
Coming to the sport, right? I'm sure there were, in your era, it was dominated by the Mumbai-Delhi block. Lots of strong players from Mumbai and Delhi. There's a lot of favoritism and regionalism as well. And we've all read about this. This is public news. It's out there. What was it like coming from Chennai, then Madras, and fighting your way into the team? Did you think you had to work harder or prove yourself more to be selected in the Indian team because you were not from that Mumbai-Delhi block?
Let's put it this way. India originally was dominated by Mumbai cricket. Mumbai dominated Indian cricket. Let's be honest with you, because I think it was a very organized setup in Bombay, and I think they played very well. Mumbai has won the Ranji Trophy, I don't know, so many times. No other state has won it so many times. Then, I think thanks to Bishan Singh Bedi, then slowly the power shifted from Bombay to Delhi. That Bishan Singh Bedi took over the captain. Then he brought in a lot of this, northern cricketers.
So there was regionalism there.
Mohinder Manad, Madan Lal, Kapil Dev, then all the Chetan Chauhan, they all come from it.
So they all wanted to select players from their own region.
Maybe you're right. Probably when you come from a place like Chennai, you might have to do a little bit extra to prove the whole world that you are really good. But whereas when you're in Bombay or Delhi, you get the first,
You get that preference and a longer rope.
There's nothing wrong in it. It all depends. I believe that, boss, I'll ask you a question. You are the captain, okay? You have seen somebody playing next door to your house. He's equally good. And you see me playing in Chennai. Whom will you pick?
Yeah, you want your own guy in your team, perhaps.
Whom you have seen growing up. It's not about favoritism. See, in selection, because I've been a chairman of selection committee, I know how it is.
Yeah.
It's a question of, I wouldn't like to use the word favoritism. It's a question of, the right term is, you're getting used to a player.
Yeah.
You're used to some player, and that's why
you've seen more of them.
You've seen more of them, and that's why you give them more preference. Because they're a known commodity than an unknown commodity. You see the guy, what do you call that guy, Suryavanshi? Vaibhav Suryavanshi?
Vaibhav Suryavanshi.
At the age of 14, he's got 100 IPL.
Yes.
Amazing cricketer.
Yes.
And that guy comes from a small town in Bihar.
Yes.
So that is thanks to television.
Yeah, that's thanks to
and
television.
Thanks to IPL, thanks to television, thanks to BCCI, popularizing cricket in a beautiful manner. Cricket is split out at every level. And that is also a cultural shift, you have to understand.
In how the game is played.
Yes. And culturally, cricket has become part of Indian culture. Today, I would still say Indian cricket itself is a culture.
Yeah. You know, and another interesting point is you've, of course, been involved with the IPL from the early days as a mentor for Chennai Super Kings. And you've seen it come of age. You know, you were there, I think from 2008 onwards, you've seen IPL. What's happened is with a lot of these small town cricketers, literally not in a derogatory way, but you can say village boys, coming in and rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest stars in the world. Have you noticed any sort of cultural clashes, not just from a language perspective, but perhaps also from the way the cricket is played? You could have a foreign coach who's got a certain approach to cricket, let's say someone from Australia, and you've got somebody, you know, from our domestic setup who's not used to taking instructions in that manner or playing cricket in that manner. Have you seen any examples of maybe some sort of, you can argue it's a cultural clash of sorts and it's a different thought process?
You will have to understand, you know, they all play as a team. And as you said rightly, Vaibhav Suryavanshi can rub shoulders with everybody and anybody. And that happened to so many people. So many of the youngsters, when they started playing cricket, they started rubbing shoulders with everybody and they became big. Yes. And they started dominating cricket.
Ravindra Jadeja being one. He rubbed shoulders with Shane Warne.
Ravindra Jadeja started with Shane Warne. You take even Virat Kohli. He started with all the big daddies in RCB.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many people in those days who played for RCB that time.
Kevin Peterson and like.
Everybody played that time. I think so. Everybody starts like that. You understand?
Peterson in his book has also mentioned, he's waxed eloquent about the advantages of IPL. How it helps players from different cultures learn about each other. It helps break down cultural barriers as well, and especially from our part of the world, the subcontinent. Pakistan doesn't play the IPL, but let's say Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka. Again, language sometimes could be a barrier. Is it hard for them to understand what an English coach or an Aussie or Kiwi coach is saying? How do they navigate that? And also,
I think the Indian, probably there will be an Indian in between.
Yeah.
If they're not able to understand the language,
yes,
they will have an Indian between who will probably come and, I wouldn't like to use words translate.
Yeah.
Who will, make the correction and give them guidance. This is what is to be done, that is to be done.
We saw a clash of cultures, one can argue, in the fourth test between India and England on the last day, where the English or the Aussie way is to not play for stats. And Jadeja and Washington Sundar wanted to score their 100. Now, in our opinion, and I believe this as well, when you've toiled for 50 overs to save the game, and if you're within touching distance of a personal milestone and the game is dead, you're free to go for that milestone.
Simple. If they were talking, if Harry Brook or Crawley or the other Duckett came and said, you want to score 100 against Brook or something like that, man, you couldn't get me out till 80 runs. You call yourself the best hitter, you could not get us out. Both of us saved the game. The two of them had a 200-run partnership. Washington Sundar, Jadeja had a 200-run partnership and saved the game. Now you're coming and denying us 11 runs at 15, 20 runs. I mean, you can't say you have scored you have toiled hard, scored against Archer, you scored against Stokes and all these big daddies, and they're not able to do anything. And then you're coming and say as though you've given away the match. That's wrong attitude. I think what the Englishmen did was so unsporting. Will they let go? Will Harry Brook let go at 80? He can come and say nobody play. Who doesn't play for stats? The Englishmen are not God.
Is there double standard? Is there double standards?
Yes. That's what. They're not God. They're not God. They've also done all this kind of rubbish. And they can't come and just dictate terms like this. I think I'm happy that Jadeja and Washington Sundar just stuck and they just got the 100. Very simple. That's the reason why in this particular series, if you look at it, the double standards happens. You see, because the Aussies are bad losers. English are also bad losers. Especially when Aussies losing in Australia, England losing in England, they are very bad losers. They don't like to lose.
But is it something to do with their psyche? Why are they bad losers?
Is
it because they're losing to a subcontinent team?
That is because they feel they are the most superior team. They are the ones who they were the ones who started the game. They are the ones who founded the game.
So there is that colonial imperialist mindset?
Maybe to a certain extent, yes. But now it's slowly shifting. They have no other choice.
Correct. But, having said that, and we don't see that in the Indian team as much today, but the Indian teams of the past sometimes were accused of stats padding, playing for stats. Now, you don't see that in the Indian team as much today, but the fans are very obsessed with stats, Fans will tell you, kal century bana ke aana. So they're obsessed with the 100 rather than India winning the game. Do you think that's fair?
No, not that. India, they all want India to win. If you score 100 and lose the game, nobody is going to care.
So that's changed. Earlier...
Absolutely nobody. Any time. Nobody is interested in every cricketer, past, present and future in India or anywhere. For that matter, any country. I don't think the first priority is to win the game for the country.
Which the players
only
are
they win the
on.
game. Only when they win the game, their quantum of performance gets magnified. Only if they win the game, their 100 gets magnified. Only when they win the game, their 5-wicket haul will get magnified. If they don't win the game, the 100 will be forgotten. If they don't win the game, the 5-wicket haul will be forgotten. Simple and straight.
Do you think that perhaps earlier, when this was the mindset, it came from a mindset of scarcity, In India, some of these players who are coming from the villages, and in Pakistan as well, is the same issue. A lot of them come from very, very modest backgrounds. So when they make it to the team, they have to keep their place, and hence sometimes they probably play for stats. That's a cultural thing in India. Whereas someone in perhaps Australia or England, if cricket didn't work out, they had the means to go and get a job somewhere else, because they all spoke the language, obviously the English-speaking countries, but they came from middle-class backgrounds as opposed to some of these guys who probably came from more modest means. So is it fair to say that they came from a culture of abundance? We've come from a culture of, from a mindset of scarcity. They've come from a mindset of abundance. So perhaps we want to hold on to our place in the team a little bit more. Do you think that's a fair argument?
I don't think anybody plays for stats. Unless you score, you're not going to be in the team. So stats are important in any case. To a certain extent, stats are important. For Australian or for English. Let me understand. You think that without good scores, any guy will get selected for Australia?
So those big hundreds that we focus on here in Ranji Trophy, they're as important in Sheffield Shield?
100% as important as county cricket. So who says no? I don't think you're all getting misguided. I think everywhere the scores do matter. The performance matters. The right word is performance. I wouldn't like to use stats. Performance matters. Unless you perform, you're not going to be the team. Unless you perform, you're not going to be selected. Unless you perform, you're not going to be popular. Unless you perform, you're not going to be famous.
Correct. Absolutely. One of the other cultural aspects, Chika, is your partners accompanying you on tour. In the Western world, it's par for course. You do have wags or wives and girlfriends accompany you on tour, and that's fine. That's the case now with India as well, but you have one or two bad series, and the blame shifts to your partner. And this is an Indian mindset, perhaps a subcontinental mindset. Why do you think that is in 2025? Because in no other profession are you told that if you're having a tough time at work, that you shouldn't meet your family for 1 or 2 months. In fact, that helps.
I think I find it strange actually. I think what you're saying is very right. I think in the 1983 World Cup, those who wanted to bring their wives, we were free to bring our wives. We were free to take our wives wherever we wanted to. Probably they could. We had to share the room, so we had to book an extra room and stay with them or whatever it is. But here, I'm surprised that suddenly, when the things are going well, everything is fine, hunky-dory. But when everything is going hunky-dory, everything is fine. But when you're losing, as you said, suddenly they put a kind of a, ban on the wives coming, which is not right.
And we've seen that as recently as the last
Australia series when it happened.
Yes.
I think that's more of a knee-jerk reaction taken just to probably pacify a few people, which should not be the case.
Who are we pacifying?
End of the day, if your wives are there, there should be somebody for you to share with your good times and your bad times. There should be some, you see, if your wife or a partner is there, you can share with them and say what the problem is. At least you can pour it out. Otherwise, you will have to go talk to the same old, your teammates or your manager.
Yes. And often on a long tour, especially when things are not going away, and I'm sure you've been through it as a player, you could be battling loneliness because you have somebody else who wants to take your place in the team. There's pressure on you. The media is not favorable, and you need someone to talk to.
I still believe that you should be allowed to take your wife or your partner with you. And of course, when they come, they're not going to stay all the 2 months with you. Some of them no. They also have their work here and their children here. So it's not going to be all 2 months. Maybe 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, something like that.
What's the mindset? Why do you think that problem exists in India where they feel that your wife is a distraction?
I really don't know. Wife cannot be an distraction.
Yes.
Life can be only a boost for you, cannot be a distraction, which is one thing I will not agree at all.
Is it our conservative mindset?
Maybe you're right. I think we are basically conservative people. You're right, observed it. Maybe we have a conservative outlook towards life. As Indians, we are generally conservative. I mean, we have to understand. I'm a very conservative person. Though I have a broader outlook in...
It didn't show in your cricket.
Yeah, that's what. Though I have a broader outlook in life, I'm still... The conservativeness in me is still there.
Right.
All of us have it as Indians. I mean, to a certain extent, we all have a broader outlook, but still all of us have some conservative nature within ourselves, which maybe could detect it, which is expressed or may not be expressed.
We're told, not to stand out too much for fear of offending someone. Is that tall poppy syndrome, perhaps, or maybe someone here to drag us down. Is that when you do well, don't celebrate too much. Don't be too animated. Keep your head down. Be humble. That cultural mindset has been there from the 80s. Play it safe. In your era, coaches used to penalize the players if they hit a lofted shot. We've seen that in Mumbai. You're told to play in the V, play along the ground. But in your case, of course, you broke all the rules. But that mindset, I think it comes from a mindset of scarcity where you want to be really safe. You want to have that safe job. You want to secure your future. That craving for security.
Everybody wants security.
Yes.
And everybody looks for security, which is nothing wrong in it. That's the way we have been brought up.
Yes.
And now only slowly people are opening up after the economy is opened up. Slowly people are still people want to have a more safer life than what you call enjoyable life.
Right. Correct. Now, Chika, let's have a little bit of fun. We've talked about a lot of interesting topics, cultural clashes and stuff. As we wind up our chat, I want to have a little bit of fun, and I want to ask you a few, fun questions on who is the worst traveler according to you in your team? Someone who perhaps always left something behind, someone who just missed home, was always lonely, always whining.
I don't think so. I think all of us were more busy. Frankly speaking, I really don't know. Maybe I was the worst traveler in the sense that because I always miss my South Indian food. Yeah. And of course, I had a lot of South Indian friends across the globe. So you made good friends and so you start eating, going to the houses. So I don't think anybody is a worst traveler as such. Everybody enjoys traveling because everybody wants to play cricket for the country.
Yeah. What did a player pack for a 2-month-long tour then versus what perhaps a player packs on a 2-month tour today?
I really don't know. Today players carry about 20 bats.
Oh, really?
In the good old days, we used to carry only 3-4 bats.
I would think players back then would carry their pressure cooker or some...
So, no. But I used to carry some food materials and I used to have some people in Australia used to give a pressure cooker types and all.
Yeah.
Yes, in the good old days, we used to carry those food items. What the mothers give you, pack it up and give you so you can buy some rice and mix. Because I'm a vegetarian.
Yes.
The problem is the other cultural difference is being a vegetarian. If you're a vegetarian, you find it a little bit that extra hard to get your, food.
I know about a player in your era who played with you for a long time. And on an Australia tour, his mother had sent pickles to carry with him. And those pickles were confiscated by the customs there.
Yeah, 100%. Because in Australia, they don't let the food items come in, right?
Yes.
So it happens. So, but by the time you slowly...
Just makes the tour just that much harder because you're not getting that chatpata taste.
You want your curry powder or your pickles, your whatever it is. But then what happens is in Australia, by the time you go, there are a lot of these friends in Australia, Indian, Indians who live there.
Yeah.
They are very helpful.
The Indian diaspora.
Now the Indian diaspora living across the globe are very helpful. And they come forward to give you food.
Can you recall an unforgettable cultural clash? Could be a funny moment, could be between players, could be a misunderstanding or just a funny moment, perhaps a dressing room incident, or perhaps something with a player overseas as well. It could be one of those as well. Maybe you're hanging out with a player at the bar.
You must have this.
Give me an example.
No, an example is Sunil Gavaskar's video has gone viral, right? I mean, on me, one of the streakers coming to about bring back bottom, which I think everybody's seen. I mean, in the Lord's, when Gavaskar was playing, you see a streaker running inside and just, she's topless and just showing everything and just saying, bring back bottom. I mean, that is unheard of in India.
Yeah.
And that happens in Lords in 1986.
Yeah.
And Gavaskar is just chuckling and he's just making fun of you. So, I'm just saying.
Did that spur you to score a century? Or did that spur you? Did you get out right after?
But these are kind of culturally, when you go abroad, there's so many different things you see.
What does a player of your generation have that a player of this generation lacks?
I mean, I don't compare eras, I believe that. I mean, generations and eras are different. Our eras, we played a different way. Today's era, people play in a different way. I'm not trying to give you a safe answer, but honestly speaking, I don't think we should really compare eras.
Best mates within the team and internationally as well. Who would you pick?
Within the team, it was Roger Binney, was my roommate. He was a very good friend of mine. And to a certain extent, Gundappa Vishwanath, I played a small amount of cricket with him. I think internationally, I reasonably got along well with Viv Richards. And that's the whole thing.
Viv Richards.
Yeah. Viv Richards.
Okay. Chika, you would have been fantastic T20 player if you would have made your debut a little bit later. I think you've heard that a few times. If a 20-year-old Krishnamachari Srikkanth was making his debut today with the money, with the glamour and the glitz, and with the media pressure as well, how would you have handled it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, maybe yes, my game was ideally suited for T20 cricket.
Yeah.
Probably IPL kind of a game of cricket. But I think it's a question of how would you have handled it? I think I would have known to handle it on a natural process. Everything becomes a natural process. I mean, you play the game. That's the way I play my cricket. That's the way I knew to play cricket. I did not obey it. I was not a technically perfect cricketer like Sunil Gavaskar.
Yeah.
I didn't know any other way to play cricket.
I used to imitate your stance when I used to play
mine
cricket.
Is totally, everything was unorthodox. Mine was totally out of the book. I mean, be it my attitude, be it the way I played cricket, be it the shots I played cricket, be it the way I captained India, everything was totally different. I mean, I think I was a kind of a strange character.
You were a maverick and you stood out.
I don't know about that. I was a very when I look back in life, sometimes how did I get through my whole life like this?
Yeah.
Because mine is a totally different outlook towards life.
No, but you made it and you made it well and you made a great life out of it. And out of the sport has given you so much.
Even doing commentary, I do Tamil commentary, which has become very big.
Yeah.
My way of commentating is different. So I said, mine is a very casual approach. And I always believe that the people that come to the stadium should be entertained. And that was my approach. Right. So my game was suited for entertainment.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm sure you've grown so much, not just in stature, but your worldview has changed because of the sport. And, thanks to sport, you've been able to travel the globe and change your perspective and make friends from around the world as well. And I really appreciate you, Chika, for being so open and honest in your answers and in our chat. And although there's no hamper to be won here, we do have our Plush drop, which is for somebody who's already won in life.
Thank you.
So it's from one global traveler to another.
Lovely.
And hope you keep soaring higher.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you. Good luck and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Nice to be on your show.
Thank you.
Good luck.